It is Self-Care Friday, and it is one of my favorite segments to tape because we're talking about self-care, especially as it relates to good leadership. Now, for me, a big part of my self-care is that I travel. And in fact, today I was supposed to be on a trip to Argentina, to the wine tasting valley called Mendoza, but that, of course, is not happening. So my number one tip comes to you about wine tasting. The Charles Krug Winery, which is based in St. Helena, California, is hosting virtual wine tastings. You can go to their Facebook page, and they're hosting Facebook Lives as part of their wine tasting experience. Now, if you, of course, want to buy some of the wines, you can go to charleskrugwinery.com, and all you got to do is go to the Wine Finder tab, and that's where you can find the wines so that you can taste along. All right, number two is coming to you from the state of Wyoming, which holds a special place in my heart because that was my first on-air market. I started in Wyoming. And Yosemite National Park actually has a great website that you can check out. It's called virtualyosemite.org. You can check out all the major sites that make that park the amazing park that it is. And my litmus test, as usual, is that the photography is great and the interactivity is great. All right, number three is a product that actually comes to you from Samsung. Samsung has created something called SamsungVR. That's the URL, samsungvr.com. And they've taken a page from the New York Times. You know, the New York Times does a series called 3 Days in Bogota, 3 days in Manila, 3 days in, I don't know. But basically it gives you all the sights and the sounds and the tours that you would want to do if you were in that city. And so Samsung VR actually has done 1 day in Jerusalem, 1 day in Tel Aviv, 1 day in Milan, and it's a beautiful immersive experience with VR, virtual reality, which we know is kind of the future of travel maybe, and how we experience things. So that's at samsungvr.com. My bonus sort of tip today is if you did not catch Andrea Bocelli singing live from the Duomo in Milan on Sunday for Easter Sunday, please go to YouTube and check out his rendition of Amazing Grace, because his producers, I should say, have done a pan of some of the major cities in the world at the time that he was singing, and they take you to the streets of Sao Paolo, the streets of Milan, the streets of Florence, the streets of London, Paris, New York, and they're empty. And it just gives you the magnitude of how much this pandemic has really just brought us to our knees, brought the world to its knees. I haven't been emotional at all really during this entire pandemic, but watching that video really did, because it just, again, it's the magnitude that's really striking. All right, today we are hosting a virtual workshop on how to network on LinkedIn and how to find opportunity. You can sign up on ladydrinks.com. One of our wackiest and most animated and most passionate speakers at Lady Drinks, Joe Affelbaum, is going to be hosting that workshop, and you can still sign up. There's still room.